Okay, well, thank you for coming back. And now we have to finish the lesson of chapter 7, lesson 4. So now you're going to basically apply everything that you learned before about being able to like find patterns and understanding like relationships between corresponding terms. The last time we had like lines and then we put numbers on them and then we circled them. Well, basically what you're doing now is you're actually putting those numbers into like a table. Okay, see like before how we had those numbers and we could relate the top one and the bottom one. Well, that's what we're doing here is we just stuck it inside of a table though. So, but let's look at our directions. It says many situations in everyday life can be described by numerical patterns. The table below shows late fees for an overdue library book. Complete the table. Okay, so on the top we have number of days late. Okay, so if it's 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day late, and it looks like if you have it 1 day late, it's 15 cents, 2 days late, it's 30 cents. You have to keep completing this table. Okay, so you'll see the pattern. Obviously, the pattern up top is it goes by ones, and the pattern down here, you need at least 2 in here to recognize a pattern. Okay, and the pattern has to stay the same throughout. So we go across and we say, well, 15 plus 15 is 30. So then we would simply go across and we would just add 15 every time. So we take 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 plus 15 would be 45 cents. Don't forget the cents in there so that you can make sure that you have your labels. Okay, then you take 45 plus 15, which would be 60 cents. Okay, and then you'd have to add another 15 cents to get yourself up to 75 cents. Okay, and now here comes the all-important question. It says describe the relationship between the corresponding terms. Don't forget the corresponding terms are these. They correspond with each other because if you have it 5 days late, you owe 75 cents. If it's 1 day late, it's 15 cents. Okay. Here is kind of like a real easy one to figure out if you use the first one because you have a 1 and a 15. If you got a 1 in the top one, that's kind of called a unit rate. You might learn that next year, but if it's 1 unit, it costs 15 cents. Okay, so the unit rate's actually one of the easiest ones to go to if you have a 1 on the top because you say, it's easy mathematically to see the answer. Okay, so how do I go from 1 to 15, right? Okay, and it has to be the same as going 2 to 30, 3 to 45, 4 to 60, 5 to 75. I kind of always say it's the key that unlocks the door for me to getting to the top to the bottom, or the other way from the bottom to the top. The key has to be the same. Like this would be wrong if you say 1 plus 14 is 15. Well, that's true. 1 plus 14 is 15. But check this out. 2 plus 14 is not 30. So we know that that situation doesn't work. It has to work throughout all of them. So we would say, how do I go from the top to the bottom? Well, I would have to what? Take it times 15, right? And how do I go from bottom to top? I would have to say I would divide 15. Okay, so the relationship between the corresponding terms is to get to the bottom, I have to multiply by 15. To get to the top, I have to divide by 15. So I'm going to write that down. To get the top, I divide. I'm going to be a little more technical. I divide the bottom by 15. Okay, so that's what I'd want to see in your book. To get to the top, I divide the bottom by 15. Now, I'm going to flip it. To get the bottom, I multiply the top by 15. You can kind of see it's opposites, right? There's one way I'm going to get the bottom, the other way I'm getting the top. So let's review. To get the top number, to get that, I have to take the bottom right? Divided by 15. So 15 divided by, or I mean, wait a second. To get the top, I even struggle. I got to make sure. To get the top, I divide the bottom by 15, right? So 15 divided by 15 is 1. 30 divided by 15 is 2. 45 divided by 15 is 3. 60 divided by 15 is 4. 75 divided by 15 is 5. Okay, now I go the other way. To get the bottom, I take the top times 15. So 1 times 15 is 15. 2 times 15 is 30. 3 times 15 is 45. 4 times 15 is 60. 5 times 15 is 75. Okay? I'm not going to go into as much detail in the next couple ones, but we'll use that theory to solve the next one. Get the pattern and then describe the relationship. Okay, so now we have bicycles and wheels. Okay, this isn't too bad. Complete the table, describe the relationship between the corresponding terms. Tables probably aren't too bad. So we have 1 bike, 2 bicycles, 3 bicycles, 4 bicycles, 5 bicycles. So we know 1 bicycle has 2 wheels. So then 2 bicycles has what? 4 wheels. 3 bicycles has 6 wheels. 4 bicycles have 8 wheels. And 5 bicycles have 10 wheels. Okay, so now you should be able to see how these relate to each other, these corresponding terms, right? How do you go from top to bottom and bottom to top? So I'm going to write it just like my one before. I get the top. To get the top I, what am I going to do? How do I get this top one? I take this 2 and divide it by 2 to get 1, right? 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So I divide the bottom by 2. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite that the other way for this one. To get the bottom, and since I'm going the other direction, I don't do dividing. I multiply the top by 2. Okay, so to get the bottom, right, to come down, 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. Alright, so our key here is 2, but when you go down, you multiply, and when you go up, you divide. Okay? Make sure you have that written down. Obviously, since you're on YouTube, you could pause that. That's why I put these up here, so that you can kind of go at your own pace. Make sure you write everything down. Alright, number 9. It says the cost of concert tickets. Okay, so now this looks kind of interesting. 1 ticket, we don't know how much costs. 2 tickets cost 70. 3 tickets cost 105. 4 tickets, we don't know. 5 tickets, we don't know. So we have to take a look at these two numbers and solve how are we getting from one to the other one, right? And we might be able to figure out, see, that's 1 ticket increase. If we have 1 more ticket here, we could figure out how much more that 1 ticket costs. So I'm going to actually just take this 105 and I'm going to subtract 70, and that will give me my cost per ticket. So that's what I could put here because I increased 1 ticket and increased a certain dollar amount. So then I can know what my key is over here. Okay, so 5 minus 0 is 5. Okay, now we have to borrow. Okay, we make this a 10. This becomes a 3. That's canceled out. So it's $35 per ticket. Okay, because it was a $35 increase from here to here. And we only got 1 more ticket. So then I know 1 ticket costs $35. Okay, so now I can fill in the rest of my chart. 35 plus 35 is 70. 70 plus 35 is 105. Then we take this 105 and we have to add 35 to it to go over here. So you would say 105 plus 35. Okay, 5 plus 5 is 10. 3 plus 1 is 4. $140 for 4 tickets. And then we take that 140, we could add 35 to it, so we get our tickets. 5, 7, $175 for 5 tickets. All right, you better like your friends, your friends that you're taking to if you spend $175 for tickets. All right. So now we have to figure out the relationship. I'm just going to circle the first one because it really does give us the answer, right? To go from top to bottom, we have to multiply by 35. To go bottom to top, we have to divide by 35. See, this having 1 in the first column really helps us because we know the ratio right here. But check this out, right? 2 times 35 is 70. 3 times 35 is 105. 4 times 35 is 140. 5 times 35 is 175. So 35 is basically our key, right? Just like up here 2 was our key. Okay, our key kind of sits with the 1. All right, so I'm going to write it exactly the same way as last time. To get the top, I divide the bottom by 35. If you always do it this way, you don't have to be worried about your the way you're writing it, right? You write it the same way on each line. The first line should say to get the top, and it's nice because it's the top line. To get the top, I divide the bottom by that number, right? Now to go the other way, I just flip it. Okay? So to get the bottom, I multiply the top by 35. And you can see the words kind of match up. To get the, and then since I'm working with the top, I divide the bottom. Here I'm getting the bottom, so I have to multiply the top. Okay, a lot of bottom top stuff, but hopefully you're seeing the pattern. I'm making a pattern here, and I'm making a pattern in my explanations. Pause it if you don't have that all written down, because I'm moving on to the next one. Okay? I may be going too fast, but it's YouTube, so you can pause, you can go back, all those fun things. All right. And now the last one. Weather relationships. Hey, that's cool. So if I have 0 inches of rain, then I have 0 inches of snow. Well, that makes sense. If I have a ½ inch of rain, I have a 5 inches of snow. If I have 1 inch of rain, then I have 10 inches of snow. If I have 1½ inches of rain, I have to find it. If I have 2 inches of rain, I have to find it. Okay, well, you can see what this pattern is doing. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. You can see the pattern. It's going up by 5s. Don't let this decimal stuff throw you, because it could, but don't be intimidated by it because it's real easy. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay? And now you can see where the 1 sits is right here, though. We're going to use that unit rate right there to figure out how to write our sentences. See it? So to go to 1 to 10, right, I multiply by 10. To go 10 to 1, I just divide by 10. So let's write it the exact same way we were doing before. Look up to see if you need how it was written. To get the top, I divide the bottom by 10. To get the bottom, I multiply the top by 10. Okay, so there you have it. That's your long version of lesson 7.4. It's super long. That last video I think was 35 minutes. This is pushing 15. So that's 50 minutes of a lesson for this chapter. Okay, so that took a long time. But I do want you working through these lessons, because don't forget that we are taking attendance. We are looking at the work you're doing, and every minute you do counts. Okay, we have to have a minimum of so many minutes per day for all scholars. So if you're not putting in your time, Okay, I don't know. We need to have that done. So I know it's a long lesson, but you got to work through it. You have to watch the entire thing. Hopefully you watched both of them. Okay. Make sure you are doing your Bible lessons that are on Google Classroom. Make sure that you are doing Crossover, Newsela, and all the reading assignments for Miss Erzberger. You might have a nice little paint stain there. Make sure that you are getting your 30 minutes of IXL in content. You have to be doing math, and it should be closer to grade level, okay? And if you're just letting your computer sit, it doesn't actually record time. So you might say, well, Mr. Black, I went on for 30 minutes, but if you paused for a couple minutes, it's not going to count it. So you have to be careful. So to actually get a full 30 minutes, you might actually have to be on IXL for 40 to actually get your full time working, okay? Sorry about that, but it's just the way it is. I want you to get full credit for it, so do your 30 minutes, all of it, okay? Guarantee it, you probably could set a timer for 40 and you're probably going to get your 30, okay? All right, and then your homework is also then 7-4. Okay, use your lessons, use your workbook to figure this out. Because if you notice, the homework sheets, though, are pretty much aligning with all those workbooks. Okay, so it looks just like what we did in the book. Use your book to help solve, okay? You write the first 5 terms of the pattern here. Okay, so write your terms. Starts with a 2. And then you have to write those expressions. Then you can get the 6th, right? Okay, here you're just writing the pattern. Okay. Circle the corresponding terms like we did, and just like we did in this video, you have number of songs and how much it costs per dollar. Okay, 99 cents for one, $1.98 for the next one. Okay, you're gonna have to add what, 99 cents onto every single one of these, right? 99 cents plus 99 cents is $1.98. So then add 98 cents to that. I mean 99 cents, or I don't know why I said 98. Add 99 cents to this number. You get that number, add another 99 cents to get here, add another 99 cents to get your 5 songs. Okay, describe the relationship. And then this one actually asks you what it would cost to download 6 songs, right? So then actually what I would do is I would just extend my table. And I would put a 6 here, and then whatever this number is, add 99 cents, put it over here. Okay? All right, super, super long lesson. Hopefully 7-5 isn't this long. Put in the time. Got nothing else to do, right? Okay? Get it done and be successful. All right? Don't forget to do all your work.